Hey everyone, this is the Spoon Dude back with another video. This time I thought I'd do a different kind of video. I thought I would do sort of a video diary or video logs or whatever you want to call it, sort of documenting my process of making a new custom figure. So I'll still probably do a custom showcase that's like under 10 minutes that goes over the figure anyway. But I thought I'd record my process as I go along and upload sort of the different steps that I take in making a custom figure. You know what I'm doing, right? Let me introduce to you my newest project is a Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, or Ultimate Spider-Man, based on, of course, the Ultimate version of Spider-Man. One of my favorite versions of Spider-Man. Just growing up, it was one of the most popular kind of versions of Spider-Man at the time. Of course, the main artist for that series was Mark Bagley, or Bagley. I never actually know how to pronounce his last name. But anyways, Mark Bagley did that comic for like 111 issues or so, and you know, that's pretty much the definitive artist for that series. When you think of Ultimate Spider-Man, you think of Mark Bagley. And all this to say that the official Marvel Legends Ultimate Spider-Man, in my opinion, doesn't really capture the look that I would want. He's a nice enough figure. I like him. I used him for stop motions back when I did them. But I think I even mentioned in a previous video that the look of the figure doesn't really invoke the Mark Bagley kind of design. If anything, it's more like a Stuart Immonen, who I think was like the second artist in that series. You know, it works for the Marvel Legends line. They don't often do artist-specific figures anyways. They kind of just do it in their own style, which works for the line as a whole. But if you know me, I like having, you know, figures that are based off specific art, especially Spider-Man. I've already made like a McFarlane and like an Alex Ross Spider-Man. So yeah, I thought I could make a better version of Ultimate Spider-Man that is a little bit closer to the Mark Bagley style, and also has more of the things that I want from a Spider-Man figure. Like this official one doesn't have any armpit joints or anything, and he also has painted webs and not sculpted webs. I much prefer when a Spider-Man figure has sculpted webs. It always just seems more detailed to me, and more unique. You know, this is a blank body that could be and has been repainted over and over to be a different thing, but if you have sculpted webs, it's like, you know, very exclusively Spider-Man. But yeah, so setting this guy aside, since I'm not actually going to use him in the custom, I'm just explaining why I'm making the custom, right? These are the two figures that I will be using for the custom. And I will say, I did not come up with the recipe that I'm about to describe here. I got this from the customizer Osplinter Osnako. I think that's how you say it. He had like an Ultimate Spider-Man figure he was working on a couple years ago. Maybe more than a couple years ago at this point. And I thought it was a, you know, good recipe, so I thought I'd try my hand at it. So this is the Spider-Man Classics. I think it was like a Peter Parker Spider-Man. I got him off eBay for a decent price. Just a figure. He didn't come with his alternate head or his base, but I didn't need those. So it's a pretty nice Spider-Man. I actually can't decide if it was based on Mark Bagley's art directly. I'm also thinking it could also be a Romita Jr. Spider-Man, who's another one of my favorite artists. But you see, he does have proportions that would fit a Mark Bagley Spider-Man. Problem is, he's just too dang tall. And I've thought about just trying to shorten him, but he doesn't really have the articulation I would want from a Spider-Man. Like, he has no ab crunch, and his head joint is just a simple ball peg. And of course, he has like a gimmick, so like a punching gimmick that isn't great. And I figured it'd probably be too much work to try and make this smaller and more articulated. So I got this body, again taking it from that other customizer, and I've already done a little bit of customizing here. I hollowed out his head just a little bit with my X-Acto blade, just very carefully shaving or making kind of shallow cuts at the edge of the socket until it fit this Amazing Spider-Man 2 body, and you can see that right here. So that fits there pretty nicely. It's still a little tight. I think I'll adjust that some more, but now we have the head on this body, and I actually really like how this looks. This Spider-Man Classics head is bigger than the movie head, which fits the aesthetic of the kind of teenage Spider-Man better. And then additionally, I feel like these hands are too small. So for now, I think I'm just gonna use the official Ultimate Spider-Man hands, which I had long ago customized to fit a different body. They still fit on the Ultimate Spider-Man, but now they can also fit on this Amazing Spider-Man 2 body. You can see they're a little bit bigger than the Amazing hands, not by much, but just a little bit. That I think it fits better. I'm not sure if I'm gonna really keep these hands. I might customize him a new set just for him, especially since these have the painted webs, and you know, the figure has sculpted webs. But anyways, that's of course a big reason why I went for these parts. They have the sculpted webs, and of course this body does have the ab crunch, unlike the Spider-Man Classics one, and it does have the butterfly joint. So using this body, I'll be able to have all the articulation that I want, minus toe hinges. But yeah, but of course the figure is not done. It's far from done. To make it more Ultimate Spider-Man, I will have to, for one thing, sand off all of the texture on the blue. This is of course a movie figure, so it has the kind of texture that the movie costume had. I have to get rid of all of that to make it nice and smooth on the blue parts. I also think I have to resculpt the torso area just a little bit to give him a thinner waist that's closer to the artwork. And I also think I'm gonna shorten him. Of course, you can see here, he's quite a bit taller. He's not quite as tall as this Spider-Man Classics body was, but like compared to like this face-off Captain America, he's shorter, but not by much. And for a teenage Spider-Man, you really want him to be like this height. I think this is an ideal height. So I messed around with my photo editing app, and I like wanted to see how the proportions would look if I cut down the shins a little bit and even the upper thighs. And I think if I take off just enough, I can kind of maintain his proportions for the most part, but shorten him down to a size about this height. So that's what I'm gonna try and do. So I'll shorten these shins a little bit. I'm not sure where I'm gonna cut it just yet, but I am gonna cut them nonetheless. Like you can see here, like how the boot is taller than the official ones, so I think I could cut it like a row of the webbing, and that would shorten him a little bit, and then cut somewhere up on the upper thighs, and then of course obviously resculpt it so that he's shorter. And then I also gotta give him, you know, new spider logos to fit the accurate ones from the comics. So I might shave off the logo in the front completely, or I might just remove some, like the bottom legs, but keep this and just resculpt it just a little bit. Not quite sure, I haven't decided. Like you can see on the official figure, the logo is like at the center of his chest, and this one's really low, so I'm deciding if I'll just like have that, or if I'll get rid of this and put the logo where it should be. And then on the back, I will get rid of this logo as well. Just sand it smooth, put sculpt over it, and sculpt the correct logo. I think part of it will get onto the butterfly joints, or I could also try and sculpt it small enough that it avoids the butterfly joints. We'll see. I'll try to see what works best. And then lastly, the head. It's a pretty good head for an Ultimate Spider-Man, I think. Again, it's nice and big, and he has nice big eyes. But my problem with it is the black outline is too thin for Mark Bagley. Mark Bagley's sort of black outlines for Spider-Man eyes are usually pretty thick. And I already kind of messed around, again, in the like a photo editing app. I used PixArt. I drew like the thicker black line around it to see what that would look like. And even on the figure itself, I've already messed around with my Micron pen and sort of drew some black around it to see what it would look like on the figure itself. It just wiped away anyways, so I just did that to mess around with it. And I'll try to put the pictures on it while I'm talking. You can see what that looked like. And I think the result is close enough to the comics that I'll be happy with it. So I'll get out my epoxy putty, get it really, thin and small, and sculpt around that to thicken that black part. I'll leave the white part untouched. I think, that's a very smooth paint job. I don't think I can do better than that. So I'll leave the white part as is. I'll just add extra black around it. And then speaking of paint, I can't decide if I'll go for sort of a blue like this color, or a darker blue like sort of earlier issues of Ultimate Spider-Man. I will say I'm also debating if I should give him a metallic sort of finish on the blue parts or even the red parts, because it would be accurate to some of the early artwork, but we'll see. But yeah, that's the recipe that I'm going to use and sort of my plan for this figure. Hopefully it comes to fruition. Hopefully it works out pretty smoothly. There's a lot of work to be done here, but it's also fairly simple, so hopefully it turns out the way I wanted it to. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed sort of me just talking out loud and figuring out how I'm gonna make this custom. We'll look out for the next part in this video series, or actually start making that plan into action. And yeah, so make sure to subscribe for that, and you'll be able to see me make this custom as it goes along, and eventually see what the final product looks like. So thanks for watching. Again, subscribe, like the video, do all that. Yeah, see you on the next part of this this journey, I guess.